I knew I hadn't pressed the button. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. This is Numayar and Hassan. Hassan?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Right, let me just adjust my chair while you talk.
Welcome back, everybody. Sorry we missed you last week. We had a little bit of a hiccup. My colleague Numayar, my lovely Numayar, was not very well. It happened last minute, so we had to pass. But mashallah, we're back here. So yes, welcome back. Numayar, how are you feeling?
Feeling great. My nose is bunged up and so on, but it doesn't matter. Okay, we are back on Radio Seerah
1575 AM.
Oh, we make a good team. We know the two numbers to put together, make it into 1575. So, again, let's start again. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all our beautiful listeners that are out there. I know there is one particular listener, Hawa. I've got your husband safe and sound here. Actually, my kids listened in as well. Yes. Quite a few other friends listened in.
Kids, Dad's here as well, so don't worry. Yeah? It's not just me.
Okay, so today we are going live, not only the radio, but we are apparently on Facebook and some other channels, etc. MashaAllah, it's very good.
We should learn all these platforms. We seem to be on every platform at the minute, so apparently there's camera on me as well. So
yes, looking very handsome there with the Radio Seerah flying around, etc. So, Ramadan, halfway through. I know everyone's mentioned it, but we are more than halfway through.
We are on the 17th, actually. I just looked it up today.
Amazing, man.
Amazing. 3 days, and in 3 days' time, people will be doing itikafs. And we pray for them, and we wish we could join them as well, inshallah.
I've done itikaf already.
Have you?
Yeah, 3 days in bed. I think it was the longest time I've been in my room.
That's what Jamaat does for you, when you say the longest 3 days.
Wait, Lala, let's clear this. Due to I had a fever and headache, all kind of illness and so on. It wasn't COVID, as I had to keep testing myself and sending results out to my friends and family because they all were trying to kill me off with COVID, even though it wasn't COVID.
Yes, we kept on asking, isn't it? Is it COVID?
Is it COVID? Is it COVID? I'm sure it's COVID. They're even telling other people that I've got COVID. But alhamdulillah, have recovered. My family have almost recovered. I think just one of my daughter, Unesa, out there, may Allah make it easy for her. She's the only one with a bit of cough and cold and a bit of temperature left. Otherwise, it has been a phenomenal Ramadan with the family. Even though I've been ill, they have been looking after each other. So it's been beautiful. Beautiful food as always.
Yes.
And we are very grateful for this good food that we have. Every time I go up to the table or I look at it, I say, wow, look at the number of items we have on our table and so on. I'm so happy with all this. Because Allah has blessed us with this. Hassan, I know you have 10 different dishes yourself, so...
Well, I have my favorite samosas every day, so that's the main thing. But you're right. I think we should give appreciation to our family members, especially the ladies and men as well, who cook and prepare our food. That when we come back, there's so much available there. But yeah, we are appreciative. But like you were saying, 17 days already gone, and when you think about it, it doesn't seem that long ago.
No, that we started. Yeah. Okay, quick one on that. You mentioned something on the way here.
Yes.
About... Actually, let's backtrack a little bit. Okay. Last week's show was going to have a guest who's a foreign international student, not foreign student, international student who's studying his master's here. He left his wife and his very young child behind back home in Bangladesh. He's from Bangladesh. He's doing a master's degree at De Montfort. And we was going to have him on the show. He was very keen to come and explain how he's feeling is, leaving family, his mom, his dad, his sister, everyone behind, how he's finding living in the UK, fasting for the first time without family and so on. It's very hard for me to visualize that because I have my wife and my children.
Yes.
Even if I do miss my sisters and so on, I do have my wife and my children around me. I have my friends around me I have established close links with and so on. Same with you, isn't it, Hassan? You've got your family and so on.
Yeah, family makes a difference. I mean, when you've got family, you don't think twice about, I might be on my own, or is anybody going to prepare my food, or anything like that. But for people like that, it must be pretty hard. And he was going to join us last week, but sadly...
due to my illness, everything went pear-shaped, as I say. But what we did want to highlight last week with regard to that, and we'll do it briefly, is that if you know, and even if you don't know, find out, if you do go to a mosque and so on, you're going to see some students and so on that they're students, etc. Just reach out to them. Say salam, say hello, like we said last week on the last show, and ask them, if they would like to join you for iftar in the mosque, or, so the next day just take 2 samosas. That's all you got to do. Take 2 samosas, 2 something extra, or even
Yeah, it does make a difference because just going back to your friend from Bangladesh, when I was a student, I studied away from home and I had nobody there. And when I met I spent most of the time with the Arabs, and they were like that. They would come over and they would ask you, and we spent most of my Ramzan with them. So, yes, talk to the people when you see them new. Who ask them, are you here by yourself, or can you come and join us? That's all it takes. There are a lot of people out there who are by themselves nowadays.
Yeah, that's the key point we keep highlighting. Ramadan is about the Quran, it's ibadah, but also reaching out to the people that need us more than we realize. Our community needs it. That's all it is. Building bridges in the community, learning who may be alone. It's not just the youngsters. There are elderly people.
Elder people. And some people haven't, especially with COVID, they've not had that many people they've come in interaction with. So when they come into the mosque for the first time, and some people haven't come for a while, and when we don't show them that hospitality, they're going to think, nobody really cares.
Yeah.
So that's another thing about caring, whether it's young or old. I think we need to reach out, because we're going to see, for the regulars, wherever you pray, you will see people who you've never seen before.
Yeah. So, right, before we depress everybody with, this is not sad news, this is good news.
Yeah,
this is us reminding people about the good things.
That's what we're saying. We're not saying anything bad, but we're just saying when you see someone new, ask them, my name is Hassan, what's your name? Are you new here? Can I assist you? Just that. Just being kind.
That's it. Be kind. That's the good news theme. Okay, so this week, before we delve into the good news that we want to share, I want to start the show off with highlighting our revert brothers and sisters. People who have come into Islam, whether they came into Islam this week, last week, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago. I know brothers and sisters who came into Islam over 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that live in Leicester and so on. Obviously, all over the world, I even met Spanish reverts in Spain who took Shahada 30 years ago. They're from California, etc. So I love listening to their story and so on, how they came into Islam and so on. It's never an easy journey. This one particular one, Hassan, I want to share with you about this young man who, from the Hindu background, his family's from the Hindu background, and his name is Seerah. So this is a story that was shared with me on one of the many platforms and so on. A brother called Seerah, he accepted Islam at the Islam Information Center in 2019. Just 2019.
Yeah, just before COVID as well.
Yeah. So he accepted it in January, and in May 2019, Ramadan, his parents kicked him out of the house because his family found out that he accepted Islam. Okay?
It's difficult.
That's difficult enough, but with all his trials and tribulation, he kept going forward. He didn't stop. A lot of people give up. A lot of people stop without support and so on, but the biggest good news I can share with you is that he came to Islam. Second biggest news I can share with you is that he has done hifz of 9 juz.
There you go.
He's done hifz, Quran hifz. So he learned from basic. And I heard him read the other day on an audio clip. Amazing. He's actually studying engineering at Loughborough University. May Allah grant him steadfastness and success. But he's also leading Salah and so on. And he's learning hifz. He's learning the Quran. I mean, it put me to utter shame.
I agree with you.
And you and I have been through this, we've got ourselves a teacher, we learnt how to correct our tajweed as much as we could, but we just stopped. That's our problem, isn't it? We stopped.
When we get a bit of a hurdle, we stop. I think maybe because we're too comfortable. I don't know. This gentleman you've mentioned, he's had as you said, family kicking you out. I mean, you've got no family at all. But still it motivates him. I think it's knowing that that's what he wants to do, and sometimes we just take it for granted.
But isn't it brilliant news? I mean, he's coming to Islam and so on.
Amazing.
But he's obviously, think about it, the family kicked him out. And that's quite a common news, common way things happen. Family don't understand about why you've changed religion, etc. And particularly Islam with all the bad publicity and press and so on. So how many reverts do we know personally?
So we talked about this the other week, and I put up my hand. And sometimes when we see somebody new, we don't ask them, and I think we should ask them. I don't know that many, but I have come across when I used to go to DMU University to pray my Jummah. I used to meet them there, and even last week when I was at one of the mosques, I met an African gentleman. Now I don't know whether he's a revert, but he was definitely learning Arabic. He got his headphones on and he came and told me, look, I'm new to Islam, but I'm learning Arabic. And I thought, you know what, that was my first time I met somebody that actually, after a while, thinking about reverts. So yes, I don't know that many, but yeah, I think we got to make sure.
But there's reverts in every race and so on. We really need to. There are certain institutions in Leicester that are doing far better than
Yes.
other. I got to admit, and I'm not going to be shy. I'm going to just say it out. City Retreat,
They do a lot.
They do a lot. They are doing a lot. Inviting openly. In Islam, Hassan, you and I might have differing opinions. Okay, we might have even the way we pray our salah different.
Yes.
But the main thing is we're both Muslim.
Yes. And that's what brings us together. I said this on the first show, that we went to Liverpool Mosque and the man said the same thing. There's 20 different nationalities here, but we all pray differently, but we're brothers through religion.
Yeah.
And after a while, you don't even notice that what background you're from, but you just accept each other.
Well, why am I mentioning this? I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because Leicester is known to be a very phenomenally, the number of Muslims here is amazing.
Multicultural, as they call
Very
it.
multicultural, but Islamically, we have a lot of Islamic institutions and so on. So many, in fact.
Yes.
As we walked from the car park to here, we could see about 3 different mosque minarets of the masjid and so on.
Yes.
But I'm going to say it openly today, and a lot of people know it's the truth. We're not very integrated. I'm sorry to say this. We're not integrated. And trust me, I've come from London, and as a non-Indian, I'm from Bangladesh.
Yes. No, you know.
My mouth is big. I go around saying salam and so on, etc. And I don't anticipate people to give me a salam and a hug back straight away. But as a Muslim, I have found clear division. Clear division. There's a very small minority who are open-minded, open-armed like you and so on. But other people are very, very insular within the Muslim community. Now imagine, I'm noticing this, I'm still noticing this after 7-8 years. Imagine a non-Asian Muslim revert who's just come into it.
And like you say, if you just look around, whatever mosque you go to, see how many different nationalities there are there. And we seem to see the same kind of nationality that comes. And when you see somebody new, most people will either, not I'm saying frown, but how easily are they acceptable? That's why we seem to be having different mosques for different.
Should we?
No, we shouldn't. It should be all one.
Yeah, it should be. Even if we have different thoughts and so on. This is what's really bugging me. Let's go back to Salam Peace Center again. One of my favorite things about Salam Peace Center is the muaddin that does adhan, he's not from India.
No.
The imam that leads the salah, one of them might be, the other one's not, etc. It's all mix and match.
That's the way we should have it, so it shows our coming generation that it's a mix.
Yeah.
And I mean, just talking of that, my lovely nephew, I went to see him this afternoon, Ahmed. Ahmed, hope you're listening to this. He went to Jamaat for 3 days, and he went to Derby, and he was telling me that he's spent the time, because we all thought Derby was full of people from Pakistan, but now there's a lot of people from Afghanistan there as well. So he spent 3 days with them, and he was telling us how they accepted them coming there, but also their culture. And I thought that was so nice for them to send him somewhere where he's never been before. Spend 3 days with Afghani people, how they opened their fast, how they all after iftari they all sat together, they ate their food. Then after Tarawih they had the main food, and he felt so welcome. So I think that's what we need to do sometimes. Think, we have many mosques. Let's include people in there. It doesn't matter what background they're from, but include them. They might have a different way of doing things. Let's accept that. Not say this is the way we do things, but we'll accept that, and it just makes it easier.
We need to do more proactive dawah work within our community for ourselves, to remind ourselves what being a Muslim is about. Activities in the mosque, activities in community centers and so on should include everybody.
Definitely.
Okay, we jumped the gun. We want to show Islam off to the non-Muslims when we can't even correct it between us as Muslims. I'm sorry, I'm being very harsh today. This is the good news show.
Yeah, it is. I think we will come to the good news. I agree with you on the other point. Is talking of looking at ourselves first. When Jamaat people come, they don't go to a non-Muslim's house. They come to our house first. Do you understand? To a Muslim house, to remind you. So that's what we need to remind each other. There are other Muslims there. There are reverts there. There are people who've left their families. I'm sure a lot of people have been listening to radios, and you'll see even some of the presenters I was listening to today, that she's a revert as well, and the hardships they've gone through. So let's support them. At the end of the day, all you can do is support.
Yeah.
And that's what makes a difference. If a revert come to a mosque and we don't welcome them, they might never ever come again. Do you understand? So I think we need to just change our mindset, accept people and ask them, my name's Hassan, what's your name? Are you new here? Can I assist you? Doesn't mean you're going to help them, but the fact that they know you're there to assist.
Yeah.
We had a gentleman I met at the Peace Centre, coincidentally, and he'd moved from, Mr. Malik, hope you listen to this, he moved from Nottingham to Leicester, and he came to the Peace Centre for a couple of days. He was very quiet, and I went over to him. I said, "You're very quiet. What's the matter?" He says, "No, I've come from Nottingham. I don't know anybody here." And that's how we started the conversation. And now we're one of the best friends. Like same with Numayar and me. We met at the Peace Centre, but still, it's that connection you have with people that you've never met before. If you give them a positive feel, they will keep coming. That's all we need to do.
Yeah. Positive and good news. That's what it is. On that note, you have a brilliant story about New York.
I have a brilliant, amazing. I'm sure everybody's heard about this. I think during Ramadan they had
at the beginning of Ramadan.
Of Ramadan, yes, they had an open iftari in Times Square, and that is in America, in New York, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And can you just believe how many people were there? They did iftari, they did Maghrib namaz as well.
Yeah.
Proper recitation.
Yeah.
And that was a dawah to the non-Muslims as well, if we're talking about dawah as well. But even for our own Muslims, those, as we were talking about reverts, or people who've not come to the mosque or prayed for a while, they all got together, they opened iftari together. They must have felt a sense of community, sense of belonging.
Yeah.
Look, we are all from different parts of New York, but we're all doing iftari to get together. How beautiful is that? How beautiful is that?
That was a beautiful coming together. And I know we do have similar functions in the UK and so on.
Yep.
But to me, it stood out for the fact that after lockdown and so on, to bring the community together like that, all the people of the community and so on, Muslim and non-Muslim, came together. But also New York, as we know, is a sore point with regard to 9/11.
Yes, definitely.
People still have that through the media and in their mind and so on. But so bringing the good news from the Muslims and so on to share food.
Yes.
And some of that recitation, some of these brothers, amazing recitation.
Amazing. I've seen some of the recitation previously on YouTube, people sending you clips. But seeing those imam praying, you think amazing, And that's what we miss sometimes. Some people, I have actually in this Ramadan as well, I've had people comment, we miss the community feel. At the minute, what we do, we have kajur and water by yourself, and I'm sure Numayar, you're the same as me. We prefer to sit around each other, just to be together. You've probably never met somebody, but this time in Ramadan, you've met them, you've got to know them. So I think that's an amazing story. It made me so happy just looking at that. And I'm sure they're doing it in other parts of the countries where there's less Muslims, but they're all getting together and showing the non-Muslims as well that this is what Ramadan is. This is how we do things. This is the reason for it. And before you know it, you're having a conversation with somebody, and someone could get hidayat. You never know.
That's it. Listen, there's so many different ways to reach out to the community and do something very small but very worthwhile, very good. A smile, exchanging a date. But yes, okay, a lot of people might be a bit wary now coming out of COVID and so on with regard to, accepting a date from me or you and so on. And some aren't, and some are. But that's fair enough. It's going to take time for people to get used to the norm, what it used to be of sharing and caring openly. But inshallah, it will come back. Community, you've heard us. We're not grumbling and moaning. What we're doing is trying to bring the good news to you. The good news is that reach out to the people that have less of a family than you, that have less of friend circle than you. It's not you have to cook for them and clean for them and, give them a shelter and so on. It's a matter of just reaching out and being part of their life so they can also appreciate and enjoy that beautiful, beautiful feeling of being a Muslim family. Definitely. That's what it is.
Totally agree with that. I think it is about helping people. And you will notice that it doesn't have to be something big. It's just someone knowing that they can ring you or they can call upon you to help. That is so much better than them having nobody. So yes, go out. The other thing I was going to say earlier on was when we did the show on the first week, I spoke to a few people after that, and people are moving away from the good news story. I said, no, you need to be talking about good things. If you see something negative, it doesn't need to be mentioned. Let's be positive. And I think if we move towards that, just being happy, being positive, moving forward is so much better than just complaining and whinging. I think I'm good at that, if people tell you.
No, you've changed yourself, mashallah.
I have changed.
Yeah.
I have changed.
You know, the fact that you're taking part in this good news show is the number one good news. Secondly, is that you always telling me good news, good stuff, and so on. And you've narrated this to your friends, and as you said, you've been telling people to be positive. Why shouldn't we be positive?
I think sometimes through all sorts of stuff, we always want to look at the negatives, and I think it's important with the good news. What we've been doing since the beginning of the shows is to look at the positives. Let's look at the positives. There's always a lot of negatives. Put the negatives to one side. Look at the positives. And wherever you look, whoever you meet, be positive.
Be positive. Right. On that positive note, I've had a text message from a good dear friend of mine, Arif.
What's he saying?
He's saying he's worried about my fasting.
Ooh.
Because he thinks I've been fasting so hard that my voice has gone down. And he asked me to speak up louder. So I don't know if this is any louder. Maybe when he sent me the message, I might not press the right button, but hopefully he can hear me nice and loud. Arif bhai, assalamu alaikum. It's lovely to always hear from you. And we do bump into each other quite regularly, which is good, usually in the morning when we're doing school run.
Thank you, Arif Bhai, for reminding us about that. I think Numayar Bhai is a bit tired, but I'll make sure the mic is right in front of him.
It is in front of our face. My goodness. Okay, on the technology side.
Oh,
right,
I was looking forward to this.
Yeah. Is all our bills has gone up 50%. There's no denying that. Electricity, gas, everything has gone up 50%. But as Muslim, you know, the hadith of if you have a river running near your feet, past your house, you should still conserve the water and use it sparingly. Okay, that's a very good sign to say we should be more careful with what we use and abuse. Whether it's electricity or gas or water, we should be careful with the consumption and the waste of it and so on. Because by wasting it, we're going to cause ourselves harm by having to pay more in the bill. By consuming less of it and carefully, we'll save the environment as much as we can. But there's a lot more we can do. We can insulate our house.
Yep.
Okay, a simple one like a loft insulation, etc. But generating electricity for your own house is one of the best things to do. And believe it or not, we may live in the UK, but we have enough sun power, solar power.
Oh yes. We don't have as much snow as we used to have, so we are very warm.
Come on, man! I've seen banana trees being grown outside.
I've got a fig tree that people said that'll never grow in this country, and fig trees are growing in this country.
Yeah, we've eaten figs from your tree, so I know.
So yeah, weather pattern is changing. We are getting very warm. Actually, we are getting warm.
We are. So there has been a company that's. I mean, we all know solar panels, and so a lot of people have them on the roof. It can be unsightly, but it's practical and useful. But it became a bit expensive in between. There's a new company that's launched new solar panels which can be put on your window.
Can you imagine that?
The pane, you know, the glass, window pane, so it's transparent. You can see through it. Okay, while generating energy. I hope it goes. They're going to be putting it into the new houses and so on. Obviously, I look forward to that coming into the retrofitted into the older houses and so on. All our energy created by the sun.
And those people, most houses have a sun, maybe in the morning or in the afternoon.
Yeah, some are lucky enough to have it
all day long. So can you imagine how much you'll be saving on that alone?
Yeah.
So even in our environment as well. I mean, you know.
That's the thing. It's about the environment. By saving the environment, you can save your bill quite a bit. Okay, so that's just a basic technology one that is coming out. It's already out and about. Solar panels for your windows.
There you
I
go.
think it's a very good news, and
Google
we need
it.
more
It's
of
on
that.
there.
What have you got for me?
Mine's seems to be, someone mentioned that the other week, that it's always to do with health. Mine's about eating avocados. I mean, we mentioned about how expensive it is to grow avocados and how little money people are paid to get them going. But if you eat avocados regularly, they're saying twice a week, just twice a week, it'll actually lower your heart disease by 16 to 22%. So how basically that works, what they're saying is that with avocados, they have the good fats. Yep. So eat your avocado. You don't have to put lots of like honeys and all that on there. Just cut an avocado in half, make it little squares and eat it. But that will give you good oils, good fats as they call it, so which don't sit inside your body. Whereas when you eat your other fats, your butter and those kind of
saturated,
that is going to stay in your body. So what they're basically saying is that eat twice a day. They did this survey from 1950 to 60. For 30 years, they've been looking at people's lifestyle. And those people who ate avocados, simple thing, a bit exotic food, but you get them everywhere. Even Lidl sells them. So any other supermarkets as well.
All the supermarkets sell
I
them.
tend to go to Lidl a lot and Aldi. But yeah, please have some avocados. They will lower your heart rate. And today's life's become sedentary. You know, we sit, TV, game stations, and all those gadgets that we have.
I sleep and watch TV. Not good.
No good. I don't have a TV in my room. My TV's downstairs. But no, just that, I think lowering your heart rate might just help us. And yeah.
Avocado. You either like them or you don't.
But you like them for your heart. Please have them.
Okay, fair enough. I can just about have it. My kids have it. They have it on toast and so on. I know you don't like the way they have it.
No, yes, we mentioned
people mash it up.
Mash it up and purify it. I don't know, that reminds me a lot of stuff. And avocados by nature, they're not one of the best things to have. They may taste sometimes like a bit of fairy liquid, but...
when you're advocating that, are you? Drink some very liquid to clean your heart out.
Don't put very liquid on that. I'm not saying
No.
But anyway,
it is actually quite a nice taste.
It is a nice taste. Talking of that, my very good friend Ismail in Zimbabwe, he actually has a tree in his garden, and when I went to visit him many years ago, a massive tree, and avocados, big avocados, do you understand? And he always says to me, you know what, they have it regularly down there. So explains that. So yeah, avocados, a good tip for the day.
Flying anywhere this year?
I'll be flying if I can. They've got very well put. So they've got new research, and they've proved that they can actually fly big jumbo jets using the oil that we use in cooking. They've taken some planes in America, and the planes that they no longer use it, and they've put oil in there they've processed it and made it safe so they can use it in the aeroplanes. But it won't be long before we're all using cooking fat to fly. How about that?
Fantastic. So instead of paying for a ticket, I can take a tin of my old samosa oil.
Put it in there.
So, brilliant. So I take a luggage of clothes and a tin of old oil and put that in and say, there's my ticket. Let me on.
Done. Get a discount as well because we're Indian. No, but because I know McDonald's and places like that, end of the supermarkets, they run their vans and trucks on oil by recycling
the oil. Yeah.
But now we're actually moving further that they're actually using planes. So I think, again, think about our environment, our children.
Do you know, instead of just dumping the oil from the frying pan into the
drains,
which is really bad for the environment because you're dumping something that can harden very quickly, clog up the system and so on.
When it gets cold, yes.
Yeah. And we don't have that much sunshine here that's going to melt all the... Or putting it in the dustbin and so on. You could put it in a bread bag or a container, keep a container. The reason I say bread bag, because bread bags don't have holes in them.
Yes.
Okay? Or keep a container, an old milk bottle and so that you've washed out and so on. Keep that with a funnel, pour the oil in there. Try to filter it by simply putting a piece of
cloth
or something so you don't have all the crusty bits.
Yeah.
And if you take it down to the local tip, I once called Gypsum Lane.
Yes, near the Porsche garage.
That's
those who drive Porsches. Or Aldi, those people go to Aldi. Yes. You're going to tell me they're going to give you some money, yes? If you tell me they're going to give you money, I'll be coming to people's houses collecting.
No, they don't give you money, but you can take it to that. What's the name for it? Was it?
Skip.
Skip?
Yeah. No, Gypsum something.
Okay, we normally take your household... Recycling center, that's it. Where you take all your goods from the...
Where you take all your goods and you throw them away, and then someone puts them in the little shop and charges twice a month.
Okay, no. On a serious note, they have a container where you can put the oil in.
Yes.
And so they can use the oil to make fuel with and
so on.
Fuel
for my planes.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. I mean, otherwise I would have just dumped it down the bin and so on, or in the sink. Again, bad thing to do.
Please don't
oil
do that.
Down the sink.
Because poor Hassan here, for many, many years, my mum taught me how to clean a drain. So I always clean drains with a brush, and you can see all the fat globules that, from the basic stuff that we throw that in the drain, it actually clogs it up.
Yeah.
So yes, take them to Gypsum recycling
anywhere, wherever your local recycling center is.
And most people now buy milk containers anyway. I get my milk in a carton, so we use that.
Okay. But you obviously don't drink much milk in your house.
No,
we by the way, milk. We tried to be as environmentally friendly as we can in our house. couple of weeks back, we joined the Milkman.
Oh yes, I've got that leaflet.
Yes, and it's brilliant. I mean, the milk is beautiful. You know,
Yeah.
fresh milk in a glass bottle. It reminds me of my school days and so
Yes.
on. Well, in my household of 7, we go through like, I don't know, about 12
yeah,
12 to
you-
14 pints a week.
You need a cow at home.
So that didn't quite work out for us, unfortunately.
It is expensive. I did look at it today. Coincidentally, it was on my. Someone posted it a couple of days ago, and it is a bit expensive.
It
But
is.
again, it's for those. Maybe for myself, when there's not that many people. For us, maybe it would work.
Yeah.
To have.
Yeah, for
from
the smaller average house and so on, we are a little bit on the larger side of the average house.
Yes.
But yeah, it is a good idea. Glass bottle and so on. In Scotland, you can take your own glass bottle and fill up your milk and bring it back and so on.
That's in a supermarket.
Yeah, they have
It's
this.
amazing.
I think it's quite good that way. And I wish we would do more of that here. Then I could just take a container and fill up the milk bottle. But yeah, your bottle has to be sterilized and so on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the milk will go off very quickly. Okay, enough of my food, dietary habits and so on.
yeah.
What else have you got for good news for us?
Good news. Let me come back to it.
What good news have you had in your own life this week? From what I've heard, civil servants can work from home 2 days a week.
Yes, but those are different civil servants.
Oh, I didn't know that you had a different class of civil service.
People like HMRC, I think, people who don't see customer facing,
Yeah.
they probably can work from home. For people, for example, who work at the job centres, I think it's a face-to-face thing because we're giving a service to people.
Yeah,
So we want to be in the office. We want to be giving service to people.
course.
Unless you've got a medical condition, but that's another thing. But yeah, I think civil servants can work from home, but not a lot. I mean, but for us at the minute, we're still working in the office, and that's the job centres do. I mean, talking of job centres, I met a friend of mine, and he said that we when we meet people, we need to help them. When I started working there, he said that to me, Hassan, think of it that you're helping people. Don't think of it as a job. When people come to you, a person will come to you. Do your best of your ability to help them. If you know it, help them. If you don't know, guide them to the person who can. Going back to what we were saying before, just reminded me about that.
Yeah.
It's all about helping people. Anyway, what else we got?
Yeah.
Good news. What can I good news? Good news. We had a lot of youngsters come for Jamaat,
Yeah.
and that makes me very, very happy.
Are you talking locals? Or?
Locals, some were locals. Last group that came to one of the mosques I went to, they were all youngsters from the age of, say, about 13 to 16.
Okay.
And most of them were for Hafiz.
Oh, mashallah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Youngsters, sometimes we say youngsters don't come for namaz and they don't do this and they don't do that. But no, they do. They come and they are Hafiz and they loved it and we loved it. Do you understand? And I went to another mosque as well and they had middle-aged Jamaat people there as well. So it's nice that people are still going. And my nephew Ahmad, I mean, he's been to Derby.
Mashallah, mashallah. Well, people are going. People are they are going out to find deen for themselves as well as within constructs of groups and so on, like Jamaat and non-Jamaat stuff and so on. Even just sitting in the masjid and learning something or reading the Quran and so on. Obviously, we see that far more during Ramadan.
Yes.
Whenever I travel through a mosque and so on while I'm working, there's always someone walking up and down and reading the Quran, which I
Yes.
just think is amazing. Someone sitting down, young and old, sometimes they're father and son.
Yes.
I'm sure there's mothers and daughters as well where they can. So it's good news.
It is good news. I think it's good to see that so many people are praying with the Quran Sharif, especially, as you say, sometimes you don't see that because I think we have a busy lifestyle, but to go and see youngsters coming and we'll say praying, but they are following your deen, and it does make me happy. It does make me happy.
Alhamdulillah. On the Quran side, let me just quickly highlight this. In Ramadan, we've only got 17 minutes left.
Time's gone quick.
We tend to focus correctly as well to try to finish the Quran as many times as possible, khatam and so on. But in some household, not everybody can finish the whole Quran.
No.
So you should read as much as you can, but read it as regularly as you can. There are some people who just read maybe one juz multiple times, or there are some people who just read a couple of surahs, but they look at the meaning of the surah and so on, and try to implement that in their life, or at least first and foremost, learn what the surah actually means and so on.
when we did our Arabic classes, remember when we
Many,
started?
many years ago.
No,
Yeah.
which inshallah we'll carry it on.
Yeah.
We learned, try to read Arabic because we tend to go to Palestine, and we thought when we go there we'll try to
Speak to
communicate
them in Arabic.
in Arabic, but they speak back to in English. But no, they do speak Arabic. So we will learn it. And when we learned that, our Sheikh told us that when you're reading Quran Sharif, try to, if you remember something that you've read, see the meaning of it. Because nowadays on the
look it
phone,
up.
look it up. We have a phone with a translation, and I've been doing a lot of that lately. I pray. I may be slower because before it was all about pray Quran Sharif and do a khatam and that was it. But now I think we're learning more that let's read a bit, get the translation of it, or even the surahs like you were saying, the ones that we read regularly, get the meaning for it. Where's the background? Why do we read it? What was the meaning behind it? So yeah, I think that's quite good.
I can't remember the whole hadith or the full story, but yesterday I heard something. I may have been half in between sleep and so on, but the one thing I do remember, Umar Sulaiman, the chef from America, he was narrating that there was a man who read Surah Ikhlas multiple times. That's all he read. And I think the Sahabas asked our Prophet ﷺ, why does he just read this? Why doesn't he read the rest of the Quran? And I think, I'm not quite 100% sure yet. I'm trying to come back to you guys with this. But the crux of it was that he was reading that one surah when he was asked about it because it talks about the oneness of Allah,
Yes.
His beloved, the Creator. And because of that, he loves reading it over and over and over and over and over.
No, it's true because my other friend Ayub, I hope he's listening to this, Ayub Nagdi, he taught me recently that the two surahs which we but we know Ayatul Kursi and Surah Ikhlas. He says those are the best surahs he personally prays when he's making his nafil namaz or when he feels you need that
Boost.
Yes, boost. He says those two surahs do it for him, if we can say that. So yes, I think once you've learned a surah and seen the meaning of it, sometimes it'll stick with you.
Yeah. So we should try to do this on a regular basis, find out a bit more about what we're reading and so on. And inshallah, there's so many scholars out there who are willing to give their time up and so on if we ask them.
Yes.
Again, it's with anybody. We don't ask anybody we're too shy. And
I think there are some other. I remember. I'm sure Baitul Ilm that does it. They actually do help you, even if you want to read Quran or practice it. After Ramadan, we all make like the New Year's resolutions. Okay, I can recite a bit better or try to learn. Pick up a class. Go to a mosque somewhere where you're comfortable with. Ask them, do you do a class on reading the Quran or the translation? Even if you learnt a little bit. There was talking of a hadith. I don't know by heart. But I was reading, and in there as well, something along the lines that this person was reading this line, and it reminded him of the severity of the qabr, that every time he read it, he would become unconscious because he knew the meaning of it.
Okay.
And talking of another good news, so my nephew was telling me that when he goes to some other mosques, and because they understand what they're reading, the imam, when he prays, when it's a sad thing, he starts crying. And when it's a happy thing, you can tell in his tone. So again, if we learn a little bit, it'll... Yeah,
it makes a lot of difference to how we take our religion.
Definitely.
Literally,
And we'll enjoy it as well then, isn't it?
That's the key thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, what else we got?
Tell us some more good news. Come on, you've got good news, man. I don't know what's happened to you. I left you alone for 2 whole weeks
I've had so many
news.
good news that when it comes here.
How's your breathing been lately?
Oh, yes. That's a breathing. So, there's an article that says if you breathe slowly, yes, it'll actually help you. It'll help you. Because we breathe quite a lot. We breathe continuously. We don't take it for granted. But
do you think about breathing?
No. And that's the thing we don't do.
No, wait. The reason I ask and interrupt you there, that in itself is a miracle. Allah's given us this ability, which is the most fundamental thing of being alive, is that if you you can hold your breath for 3 minutes? Most longest, I think, is 8 minutes as a professional diver or something like that. There are some people who might have jinns inside them and they hold it for like hours and so on. I don't want to know anything about that.
Yeah, jinns. We had a conversation about that.
But it's something that we do without thinking.
Yeah, we do, and it's something we take so much for granted. But can you just imagine people who got COPD? They struggle. My neighbour, who's my mum's neighbour, Allah bless her, she passed away last couple of years ago. She used to have COPD, and he was continuously connected to a pipe.
What is COPD? You want to explain?
Don't know the exact meaning, but I will tell you in 1 second when I get it up. I think it's people who have difficulty in breathing. They can't breathe correctly, so they need a pump that helps them breathe. Yes,
push the oxygen up and so on.
Yeah, so that does that. But going back to my report, in Harvard University, I've actually done a survey, and they've found out that if you take time in breathing, so take a nice, good, deep breath in and breathe out, what happens? The carbon dioxide, the oxygen that you take in goes all the way into your lungs, into all those.
So you're not shallow breathing. You're not going.
No, you're not doing that. And then when you release it all the carbon dioxide is coming out. Not only is it good for you, it tries to keep you healthy. And I think it's good. It gives you time to. Sometimes we panic. We breathe fastly. We don't really think about it. We don't need to think about Allah's given us that thing that we can breathe without worrying about it. But let's take that time. It keeps us healthy. Keeps us healthy. It's going back to the health thing again. Health, recycle, good news. So a report's come out, and it's just proved, and they've proved it using mechanical lungs how good it is when you breathe really slowly.
You can incorporate that into your khushu.
I was going to namaz,
Yeah, in your salah and so on. If you take time, I'm saying this for myself because sometimes I rush through my prayers and I just wonder how many rakat I've done for a start.
Yes.
Secondly, what did I just do? Was that good? So when I slow it down, breathing correctly, consciously and so on, means that you're conscious of the state you're in. It will help you correct your salah, your posture, and by breathing deeply and so on, you will get that benefit. Furthermore, some people even stop after salah and just do the breathing exercise.
Yes. Some people, we call it zikr, when you do zikr, Allah's zikr.
Yeah.
It helps.
Incorporate that. I have my brother.
Yes.
When he's, this is going to sound sad, but he can run a lot.
Yes, he does. He runs everywhere.
Yeah, 5 miles and so on a machine, etc., that kind of thing. He doesn't like running outside, but he do that. I said, what do you do when you're running? He doesn't listen to music. He goes, no, I just do zikr. Yeah. I go, I'm sure that's good. He goes, yeah, the reason is because in case I drop dead on the treadmill, at least I'll go with zikr on my breath.
Another advantage. But yeah, I think it does make. I mean, just in namaz would be quite a good idea actually. When you're breathing calmly, and even after namaz, just spend 2-3 minutes doing zikr of Allah or just breathing, and you'll see it'll benefit you so much.
Look, yoga is a very, very big trending thing and so on. Well, you don't realize yoga is connected to breathing and so on. A lot of people do yoga early in the morning. On the other side of it, a lot of Muslim people get up early in the morning and give themselves 5 minutes of clarity of thinking time and so on. And I've not managed to practice that yet. I'm very keen to go back into bed after Fajr Salah and so on. But people who do that, from what some of the podcasts I've heard and so on, again, they say it's really good taking 5, 10, 20 minutes for yourself because at that time, not everybody's out and about. You don't have to look at your email.
No.
You have to look at your WhatsApp. And the good news is that you can give yourself some time in the morning and doing some breathing exercise while you're doing zikr or reciting or whatever, or listening to Quran on your headphones.
Talking of that, every morning I go for Fajr. When I walk back, there's a gentleman, he's been running, he runs. And we time it so nicely that I can see him coming down the road and he's running past me. And every morning since Ramadan started, since we've been praying Fajr, he runs every day in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh. How about that? So yeah, whichever angle you use, try your breathing. Whether it's at work, at home, you're sitting, it'll just make you feel a lot better. And it's good for your heart as well.
Right. Let's remind everyone
where we are.
What radio station are we on?
We're on Radio Seerah. I should do that. I was going to say the
voiceover.
The voiceover. Welcome to Radio Seerah, 1575 AM in Leicester, with Hassan and Numayar, who has just got better from a very poorly cold and was running out of milk. Any donations welcome. Radio Seerah. Anyway,
actually, that's one of the reasons why I'm so short on the actual good news stories and so on. I'm not going to lie, I didn't have the energy to actually do research, to read and so on. I just basically just got on with breathing and eating at iftar time. That's all I did for the last week.
I think we can do a lot of research, and as it's our last show as well, so I think people, what we're trying to tell people, or help ourselves, and not tell, start with ourselves, especially me, because I didn't know much about good news. I mean, the people who know me, they'll know that what's the word they would use? Whinge a lot, complain a lot. I don't call it complain or whinge, I call it making improvements. So, give you an example.
You're the rectifier.
Give you an example. So, people have been saying that, bring your own bottle of water to the mosque, fill it up with water at home. And people are going to do that. They're going to bring their own bottle, or they're going to.
We should try, though.
We should try, but we're not going to do it. I mean, our women and our men, they have enough of those recycling bottles, the glass bottles, hundreds of them. At work, I see them everywhere. So anyway, what we did was we thought, well, people are going to bring, we've got water for them, we're going to bring water. So now we've taught them how to recycle. So they squish the bottle, put it in a recycling bag, and then I take it and I give it to the council to recycle. So what we're saying is do your little bit. Look at the positiveness in life. Yes, there's going to be a lot of negativity out there, but just look for the positive. Whether it's breathing or with the solar panels or what we talked about the ducks a couple of weeks ago, do your bit. I always say this nowadays, man is full of chaos, but out of chaos, goodness can always come out.
Yeah.
And you see that sometimes you see some old people, you'll see them walking hand in hand, and you think, how lovely is that?
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I see old people, now I've seen, I was going to say an Asian couple walking hand in hand, and I'm thinking, that is so nice. And I've seen another couple where he's at the front and she's at the back.
No, I know. The first couple of years ago, I know, but I'm not going to mention them by name. But Masha, I have so much love and respect for them. I know them. They're actually solid. They walked every day.
Yes.
Every day together and so on, which is good. Listen, we don't have much time, unfortunately.
We have 4 minutes.
But what you just said there about recycling, etc. There's simple little things we can do for ourselves, for the world, and so on. But if anything, even if there's just one person listening out there and takes away one thing, what is it that I would like them to take away? Is find the good news around in your life, whether it's about your own parents or your family or your work or whatever. Share it with your family.
Yes.
Exchange good news with your child, with your parents, with your sibling. Call them up if you haven't spoken to them. Have you had those two nutters that come on the radio once every week and so on? Okay. Anything, but what I'm saying is that share the good news with your whoever's next to you or whoever you love is far away from you and so on.
Well, connect with people and ring up someone you've not met for a while or spoken to for and say, did you know about this? Do you understand? It's just, it'll make the day.
Yeah.
It'll make the day. And that's what we're sort of saying is, look at the positives, look at the good news, don't look at the negativity of it. And inshallah, on that note, we shall be back soon, hopefully next year. Radio Seerah, 15:75 a.m.
Oh, wow.
And to my lovely wife, see you soon, inshallah.
I like the way you just took leave like a year in advance. We haven't even finished the show yet, and you take your leave a year in
No,
advance.
I'm going to give you some time now, because I think I get told off for not giving anybody any time.
No, alhamdulillah.
No, seriously.
We do need to give each other time. We need to give our family time. It's quite easy. Even if it's 5 minutes, start off with 5 minutes. Just like with Salah. Let's just do this one reminder for myself and for everybody else. If you haven't managed to get all of your 5 Salah correct, on correct timing, with khushu and so on, don't despair. It's written in many places. Allah has also said, like if my servant comes to me, crawling, walking, I'll go to him running.
Yes.
And that applies in our Salah as well. Even if we are doing just the basic Salah, just the fard of it and so on to begin with, and even if we haven't got our timing right, let's get our timing right. Okay, do it within the set times.
It's that knowing that I can make improvement. We're constantly trying to improve. Like I forget the car company Honda. They always talk about improving. We always improve. It doesn't mean that we will become perfect, but we're constantly improving. And make dua for hidayat. Hidayat. Another thing I've learned from the good news is hidayat. Let's pray for people. Let's help people. We're not the best of them, so we can improve. We can help them. So inshallah.
Be positive, but let's take one step at a time. Set yourself up with realistic goals. Not 50 different things. 3 things to do in a week, and get them done.
Definitely. I think small goals we will work. I mean, I've seen people at the gym as well having big goals and never gets around to it. But small goals, it'll get done, inshallah.
Inshallah. So again, I'm just going to reiterate. ever since I came up with the concept of the Good News Show, it's always been that I hope there is a parent out there who has the opportunity to talk to their child about something good. And hopefully it came from this show, like a mechanism where it triggers something in their mind. Oh, did you know about this and did you know about that? Or the child, or you ask the child, what good news can you tell me about the dinosaur, or whatever it is that you want to know. I just hope there is somewhere they can talk about their deen, about and the world and so on. And if someone is doing it out there, then I think we've accomplished what we set out to do during this Ramadan, to give the community a service of good news.
Just in 2 shows. We've done it just in 2 shows. Imagine if we did it for the whole month. I mean, what can I say?
Now we're going to leave everyone to practice the good news on their own.
Yes, please practice.
With their salah, with their Quran, and keeping us in their du'as. Keeping the community in Masjid Al-Aqsa and the people of Masjid Al-Aqsa. Please, if you don't know what's going on, look it up properly on news and so on. Find out their life is extremely hard on a normal day-to-day basis, but during Ramadan it gets even harder. There's so much hardship, pain, sorrow, and so on. I was even reading about the Christians suffering so extremely, where they think a lot of them are just leaving the country and the city and so on. But that's a different story.
That's a different story. But what we're saying, make dua for everybody, especially them as well.
Yeah.
For those people who have been, you'll know what we're talking about. And those who haven't, inshallah, make dua for you that you go as well and have luck. Make dua for them, please, inshallah.
Because Allah said, only we can help ourselves to change the way the world is. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everyone.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Last few seconds of Radio Seerah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Here we go.
You're listening to Radio Seerah. Now it's time for the news.